Hello everyone, I'm Santiago and today I'm gonna be testing the Dead Rising franchise on the GeForce GTX 1050 Ti. For performance monitoring, I'll be using CAM. If you want to download this software, there's a link down in the description. And if you want to support me, there are Humble and Amazon affiliate links down in the description as well. I'll be doing Dead Rising 1, Dead Rising 2, 3 and Dead Rising 4. To skip one of those particular games, check the timestamps down in the description. I'm not doing Dead Rising 2 off the record because it runs pretty much the same as Dead Rising 2. So I didn't see any point in that. Oh well, first of all, I'm testing Dead Rising 1. I'm disabling motion blur. I was able to be over 60 frames per second all the time. No problems with this game whatsoever. It was recently released for PC. This used to be an exclusive for Xbox 360 and it was for around 10 years. Now we have the PC version. It runs totally fine. It's clearly a very old game, that's why it runs so well. You'll just notice when I hit something with a blunt object, for example a hammer, that there's a very quick freeze in the frame rate. That's an effect that the game uses when you're hitting something with a blunt object. That's why when I'm hitting many enemies at once with the hammer, it's like the game freezes many times. It's because I'm hitting an enemy. So it's normal, that's how the game was designed, but other than that the game runs totally fine. I'll talk to you again on the next game.
Don't let it get away.
Follow me! Follow me! Follow me! Follow me!
Just leave it to me. Just leave it to me.
Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Follow me! Come on! Come on! Good. Follow me! Follow me! Follow me! Follow me! Come on! Come on! Follow me!
Now I'm testing Dead Rising 2 and I'm going to be doing once again 4K without any multi-sample anti-aliasing because it's a performance impact. And well, so far at 4K I was able to be pretty much over 60 frames per second, but sometimes you'll see drops below 60 to around 50, and that's on very specific open areas when there are many zombies at once. It seems that the game doesn't take full advantage of the CPU, so if you have a CPU with better single-threaded performance, it should perform better overall, because you'll see that the GPU usage will drop in those instances, which doesn't allow us to hit over 60 frames per second. Still, the game feels very fluid and is completely playable. If you do 1080p or 1440p, you should still have those drops below 60, but if you just force 4K, you'll get less jaggies on screen, which is a good plus if you ask me. So yeah, I talk to you again on the next game.
Hey. Anybody? Somebody? Is there anyone there?
Now I'm testing Dead Rising 3. I'll be doing 1440p and 1080p because this game is capped at 30 frames per second. Somebody find a way to unlock the frame rate, and I tried it, but unfortunately the game is very unstable at over 30 frames per second. It was clearly not designed for unlocked frame rates, which is very unfortunate. And I'm saying that because on 1080p, for example, it does reach 60 frames per second, but it's not consistent at all. Even if I do 720p, the game just likes to stutter. That's why I recommend you to avoid it, but if you want to do it, the option is there. Anyway, at 1440p I'm using pretty much medium settings with high textures, and the game stays at 30 frames per second most of the time. I didn't see much of a drop below 30, maybe when I'm attacking many zombies at once, and at the same time there are some explosions on screen. Other than that, it was very stable at 30, and then at 1080p I just crank up everything to the max, and the game stays at 30 frames per second all the time, and there's a lot of GPU power to spare, so you're not dropping below 30 anytime soon. So yeah, the bad thing about this one is that it's capped at 30 frames per second. You can unlock it, but it's not stable at all, but at least it runs at 1440p and it looks quite good. And finally, I'm testing Dead Rising 4. I'll be doing first 1080p with the maximum settings to show you that I can be over 30 frames per second, and then I'll try to get 60 frames per second, and in order to do that I'll have to lower the resolution to 900p. Most of the options will be at lowest except in shadows, which will be on medium, and the game is not 100% stable. It should be pretty much over 50 frames per second, but honestly on this one I would recommend just 1080p with the maximum settings, maybe put a 35 FPS cap with Ray Tuner and play it with a controller. That's what I would recommend here, because the game still doesn't feel that smooth at 60 frames per second. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I honestly don't recommend Dead Rising 4 to begin with. In my opinion, it's the worst entry in the series. The ones I would recommend playing right away are Dead Rising 1 and 2, and those run totally fine, and usually they are very cheap on Steam sales. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Yes, they were required by law. Nationwide, doesn't make sense.
That's a really good look.
Wes, I'm at the hotel entrance. You coming?
I guess.
Get out of here. Come on!
Nice! Great!
West, where are you?
Taking the scenic route.
Fine, just meet me at the hotel.
Yeah, scenic route's a little too scenic. God damn it!
Unbelievable. This place is crawling.
Weren't these people vaccinated?
Yes, they were required by law. Nationwide, doesn't make sense.
Ugh!